I've been leading the Ultras Sunday School class this month and expanding the group's vast knowledge of fun facts. We've looked at the history of Christmas cards, to thinking about light pollution, and to this morning's discussion on the peace light, and all to share the wisdom to amaze and astonish your friends. And so I continue. For example, it was Pope Julius I in 353 AD who authorized December 25th to be celebrated as the birthday of Jesus. It was Professor Charles Follen who lit candles on the first Christmas tree in America in 1832. Do you think he had any idea that the decorations would become as elaborate as they have today? A pastor named Brian Harder wrote, "It's been a long time since 1832, even longer from 353, and longer still from that dark night brightened by a special star in which Jesus the King was born." As we approach December 25th again, it gives us yet another opportunity to pause. And in the midst of all the excitement, the elaborate decorations, and the expensive commercialization which surround Christmas today, for us to consider once more the event of Christmas and the person whose birth we celebrate. The birth of Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior of the world, on some levels was an ordinary event. Babies are born every day, and they are all special and cute and bring joy and a lot of sleepless nights. But the birth of Jesus in other ways was special. To paraphrase the words said to Esther in the Old Testament, Jesus came for just such a time as this. His birth was foretold ages before. The Old Testament prophets kept referring to the Messiah, the Anointed One, the Prince of Peace, a Savior who was coming. Even the name Jesus means God saves his people. As the angel Gabriel told Mary, "Name him Jesus, for he will save his people from their sins." And that's what he did, dying on the cross to take away the sin of the world. Resurrection to let us live in grace. No more tablets of stone, God's love for us written on our hearts. There are 4 gospel writers, but only 2 include the birth story accounts. In several ways, very different from each other, Matthew was written for the Jewish community to convince them that Jesus was the long-awaited Messiah. Luke was written for the Gentile believers, pretty much for the same reason. Jesus was the promised one of God. In Luke, we get the Elizabeth and Zechariah story. Zechariah made silent in the temple, Gabriel's visit to Mary and her visit to Elizabeth, their songs, and the birth of John the Baptist. Both writers share the genealogy of Jesus. Matthew's goes from Abraham to Jesus, and Luke, in reverse order, from Jesus back to God. Matthew's story focuses more on Joseph. Luke barely mentions him. Both bring out significant details of places and names. Matthew writes of who's in power. Luke addresses the power. Matthew's account has the wise men, or the men from the east. Luke has shepherds running to see the Christ child. 2 different stories. Excuse me. 2 different stories, but the same God working throughout. It's not that one story cancels out the other. They complement. They enhance. They tell more of the story than if we'd only had one account of it. And yes, there are attempts that have been made to combine and to make the chronology fit